Hi everyone, it's Elaine Buchanan. Today I want to introduce you to a tool that has really been helpful to me over the past several years, and it's called the Facets of My Life worksheet. And basically what this worksheet is it goes over different facets of your life, of my life, to help us get an idea of where we are right now, maybe where we want to be. Also gives us an idea of maybe who God is calling us to be, or maybe something that God is calling us to do. And it's also helpful in regards to time management. It's really helpful in regards to a whole lot of things. So I just want to introduce it to you today. And then next week we'll probably go a little bit more in depth with this, so you can get an idea, so you can actually see how this works. So today we're going to focus on filling this worksheet out, and then next week we'll talk about what you can actually do with this and how it can help with a variety of different things. So the Facets of My Life worksheet, just to give you a basic overview, we're going to take a look at the different communities that you and I are involved in. So the different activities, the different people groups that we're involved with. Then we're going to also take a look at the second one right here, my interests and hobbies. These are things that matter to me. These are things that I'm good at. Or that you are good at, the things that you love to do. All of that is connected with this circle right here. And then for this last circle, we have our talents, our gifts, and our abilities. These are things that we know we're good at, or that we think we're good at, maybe something that we'd like to learn. These are also talents and gifts and abilities that others may have seen in you or in me, that we may not necessarily think that we're good at, but other people see that in us, and they do affirm that we're really, really good in those particular areas. And then you'll see this little black area right here. This area right here is a sweet spot. This is an area where some aspect of your community connects with some area of your interests and hobbies, which also connects with your talents, gifts, and abilities. And this is going to be really, 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 really fun to explore. But we'll talk about that next week. This week, we're just concerned about filling this Facets of My Life worksheet out. Okay, so basically, all you're going to do is, what I like to do is I like to write lines, draw lines coming out from the circles, and write different aspects of these circles out there. Some people like to write on the inside. Some people like to go way out around the edges and write all the way around there. Whatever you decide to do is totally fine. It's totally up to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk through this in regards to me, so that way you can get an idea of some things for you that you can write in these circles or outside of these circles, or like I said, whatever it is that you want to do. So we're going to start off with my communities. My communities for me changes on a regular basis. Oh my goodness, it changes. It seems like it changes all the time. So the communities that are in my life right now, um, let's start with this. We just moved 2 months ago, so we are in a new to us location. It's actually not that new. We lived here. Uh, well, we actually left this area about 7 years ago, so it's not completely new to us, but it's very different than it was when we moved 7 years ago. So so it's a new to us in this season of life community. So things that are part of my community are the active duty Army community, my son's school. He's also involved in soccer, so his soccer team is part of my community. We have a local church that we're involved with, so the local church is one of my communities. I teach for a couple of different schools in both their undergraduate and also in one school in their graduate program. I also am deeply entrenched in our denomination. Both my husband and I are ordained ministers, so that is part of our community. I also do some advocating and some public speaking and preaching. And when those opportunities come up, those people are part of my community as well. So I could potentially have, oh goodness, and that's just the surface. So there are a lot of different aspects of community in my life. So think about the aspects of community that are in your life, the different things that are part of your life that include other people. And you'll want to write those on the outside or on the inside, just whatever works best for you. Now let's go to my interests and hobbies. These are things that matter to me. So most of my life is spent either with my family or with other people or researching. So during the school day, during the work day, if I'm not teaching, I'm prepping for something or I'm writing or I'm researching. So that is basically my life right there when I'm not around other people. So things that interest me are I like taking complex ideas and complex subjects and breaking that down so that other people can understand those things. I'm also a huge strategy person. Explain to me how a system works, explain to me where people fit in the system, and I can take that baby and help to make it better than the way that it already is. Strategy is very important to me. My interests and hobbies. I'm also interested in big picture things and understanding big pictures of organizations and how things work and contributing to those things. I'm also interested in, I love sports. So hockey, soccer, football, those are my favorite. I also like baseball. So those are important to me. Also, I love tea. Absolutely love tea. So that's something that is an interest to me. I also enjoy being outside, going for walks, taking time to breathe. That doesn't happen as often as it should, but I do enjoy those things. There's a whole bunch of other things as well, but that just gives you an idea. I like to read. I like to read a variety of different things. I like to write, especially Bible studies or stories of other people. I enjoy doing those things. Basically, everything that I like to do outside of watching sports and things like that. It has to do with connecting people with each other, connecting people with God, or helping people and organizations become even better than what they are today. So those are my interests and my hobbies. And my talents, gifts, and abilities, these are things that I'm good at. And sometimes my talents, gifts, and abilities, they actually overlap some with my interests and hobbies. And that's totally okay. So my talents, gifts, and abilities, definitely strategizing. That would probably be my top thing. Strategizing, big picture types of things, seeing the big picture and understanding how the smaller parts work or connect with the big picture or don't connect with the big picture. Teaching, writing, again, breaking down really big, difficult concepts and explaining them in a way that people can understand. Leading, building teams, all of those things are things that I know that I'm good at. And one thing that other people say that I'm really good at that I think I'm terrible at, but so many people have said it's probably true, is I don't necessarily want to say counseling, but listening to people and helping them process who they are and helping them see a bigger picture of who they are and helping them see where they're at now in the process and where they're moving and how to get to where they want to be and what they want to do. So what I'd like for you to do and what would be really helpful before next week is if you could go ahead and just draw 3 circles on a piece of paper and put these different aspects on there, and then just start writing things that come to your mind. And I would do this at least 2 or 3 different times before watching the video that will come next week. And the reason for that is because a lot of these things, they just come to the top of our mind, right in the moment, and we can write those things down. But then there'll be other things that come up later that we might think, oh, yeah, I need to include that on my Facets of My Life worksheet. So go ahead and do that. And then next week, what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit about the sweet spot. And then we'll also talk about how these different circles, how these different facets of life, how they connect together, and what that means for who we are today, and maybe where we want to go, maybe a dream that we've had of pursuing. This can help us figure out a way to move forward with that. I believe I already said time management. This helps me a lot with time management. Maybe you want to get involved in your community and you're not quite sure what to do. This is really helpful for that. Or maybe you've been thinking about wanting to start something or do something, and this will help you figure out what that might be. Or maybe you want to start a small community within your community, and this will help you get started with that as well. So anyway, go ahead and fill this out, and then next week we'll talk about what this means and how it actually all works. So it's good to see you, and I'll see you again next week. Have a good one.